Hi everyone. Today I'll be looking at Wes Montgomery's solo in his tune 4 on 6. Montgomery's solo begins 38 seconds into the tune and is played over the following repeated 16-bar progression. As is typical in jazz, throughout the solo's duration, the progression and its chords are often modified or embellished. As you can see, the progression is divided into four 4-bar phrases. All of the chords are diatonic to the key of G minor, the relative minor of B flat major, except for the B flat minor 7th and A minor 7th chords. These chords can, however, be derived from the key of G minor. The A minor 7th chord can be found in the harmonized ascending melodic minor or jazz minor scale, and the B flat minor 7th chord can be formed through mixture. Alternatively, if we place dominant 7th chords after each of these minor 7th chords to form a series of 2-5 progressions, we see that the B flat minor 7th chord is the tonic chord of the preceding C minor 7, F7, 2-5 progression. Looking now at the solo, Montgomery begins using ideas taken from the head. If we place the head's first 3 bars above the first bars of the solo, we can see that Montgomery's note choices and his solo's melodic contour echo the notes and contour of the head. Through these bars, Montgomery's note choices suggest he is thinking in terms of the series of 2-5 progressions discussed earlier. This F and C are the 1st and 5th degrees of an F dominant 7th chord. This E flat and G, the 1st and 3rd degrees of an E flat dominant 7th chord. This D is the 1st degree of a D dominant 7th chord. And these notes are part of the E flat natural minor scale, and these part of an A flat 7th arpeggio. This F flat note is a passing note between the F and E flat notes. Over the A minor 7th chord, this E flat also is a passing note between the E and D notes. This figure Montgomery uses as a motif here and here, and in these bars it is inverted and rhythmically altered. Through these bars over the G minor 7th harmony, Montgomery essentially uses chord notes, although here this G sharp can be heard as an incomplete chromatic lower neighbour note to A, the chord's 9th. Here, leading to the 3rd of the B flat major 7th chord, this C sharp can be heard as a chromatic passing note, moving from the previous B flat note, the 3rd of the G minor 7th harmony. As mentioned previously, this motivic idea was first used here, over the A minor 7th chord. In this bar, it is used to create a line which moves from the 3rd of the B flat major 7th chord to its root. The stepwise motion of this line is then continued in the following bar, where the root and 5th of the A minor 7th flat 5 chord is connected. This E flat note can be heard as an upper neighbour note to the D, which is the common note connecting the D dominant 7th chord with the G minor 7th chord in the following bar. Over the G minor 7th chord, Montgomery simply arpeggiates a G minor triad and uses an F sharp chromatic lower neighbour note to link the 2 root notes. In the following bar, over the D dominant 7th chord, Montgomery arpeggiates a G minor 7th chord, anticipating the following G minor 7th harmony. Heard against the D dominant 7th harmony, the G minor 7th arpeggio creates the 11th, sharp 5, root and sharp 9 extensions of the dominant chord. Beginning the next 16-bar progression, Montgomery repeats the G minor 7th chord's root note and uses the inverted and altered motif to create rhythmic interest, before again using an arpeggiated G minor triad with a C passing note between the 5th and 3rd. Over the following C minor 7th chord, Montgomery again appears to be thinking in terms of a C minor 7, F7, 2, 5 progression, as his note choices in the second half of the bar leap between the third and root of the F dominant 7th harmony. Over the following B flat minor 7th chord, Montgomery's note choices are all taken from the B flat Dorian mode, the second mode of the A flat major scale. In jazz, the Dorian mode is a common choice to use over minor chords. Over the A minor 7th harmony, Montgomery's lines appear to be more linearly than harmonically derived. Initially, the notes do outline the A minor 7th harmony, with the D and D flat notes passing from this E to this C. From here, however, the notes appear to suggest that Montgomery is perhaps again thinking in terms of D dominant harmony for the second half of this bar. The D, B, and E flat notes can be heard as the root, 13th, and flat 9th of D dominant harmony. These notes, however, follow on by step to the D flat, B flat, and F notes in the following bar, and so could also be stepwise approach notes to the notes of the triplet. Once again, here Montgomery could be thinking in terms of an E flat minor 7, A flat 7, 2, 5 progression in this bar, with these notes F, B flat, D flat being the 9th, 5th, and 7th of the E flat minor 7th chord, and these notes C, E flat, G flat, B flat, and A flat being the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and root of an A flat dominant 7th chord. Except for the D flat note, all of these notes can also be heard as part of the D superlocrian mode, which is a common choice to use over dominant harmony, as it contains both the flattened and sharpened 5th and 9th degrees. In the context of the D superlocrian mode, the D flat note would be an incomplete chromatic upper neighbour note to C. In the following bar, Montgomery plays the G minor 7th 11th before moving to its third B flat. He then plays a D minor arpeggio to create a G minor 9th sound. Playing a minor triad from the 5th of a minor 7th chord is a common means of creating a 9th sound without playing a full minor 9th arpeggio. The 9th sound is continued in the following bar, with Montgomery including the A note as part of an embellished descending G minor arpeggio. The A note is approached by a G sharp chromatic lower neighbour note. In these bars, Montgomery introduces the note E natural, suggesting G Dorian, the second mode of F major. He ends this line on the 11th of G minor, and then uses chord notes here to lead on to the following B flat major 7th harmony. Initially, however, Montgomery suggests B flat dominant 7th harmony rather than major 7th, as he plays an A flat note as the chord 7th instead of A natural. The A flat note could also be heard as an escape note rather than a chordal 7th. Escape notes are notes which move by step in the opposite direction to the melody before leaping back to the original melodic contour. They can either be diatonic or chromatic. Here the melody is descending while the escape note moves up to the A flat before leaping back to continue the melody's original direction to the note F. In the second half of this bar, Montgomery then highlights the chord's 11th by using this F-flat chromatic upper neighbour note between two E-flat notes. Here, in the following bar, an upper neighbour note is again used to connect notes of the underlying harmony. Montgomery uses notes of a G minor triad, this time incomplete, over D dominant harmony to create a sharp 5 sound. Over the following G minor 7th chord, Montgomery uses the same dotted quarter note, 8th note rhythmic figure he used a few bars earlier to move from the 11th to the 3rd of G minor. Beginning the next 16 bar progression, Montgomery again uses the G Dorian mode by including E naturals through the first 4 bar phrase. In this bar, approached by a B incomplete chromatic lower neighbour note, Montgomery first plays an descending F major triad, followed by a descending C major triad. These triads are the tonic and dominant triads of F major. Playing the tonic and dominant triads of a major key over the supertonic chord is a common means of creating a Dorian sound. In the following bar, Montgomery plays an embellished ascending C minor 7th arpeggio. The embellishing notes are this F passing note, which passes between the chords 3rd and 5th, and this A note, which can be heard as the 11th. The A can also be heard as an escape note, as it moves in the opposite direction to the melody before leaping back to the original melodic contour. In the following bars, Montgomery uses the B-flat Dorian and A Dorian modes over the B-flat minor and A minor 7th chords. Over the B-flat minor 7th chord, he essentially plays an embellished B-flat minor 7th arpeggio, while over the A minor 7th chord, his line is linearly derived. Over the following D dominant chord, Montgomery's note choices again suggest he is thinking in terms of an E flat minor 7, A flat 7, 2-5 progression. The E flat, D flat, B flat 8th notes of this bar and the final F sharp 8th note of the previous bar together outline an E flat minor 7th arpeggio, and the C is an escape note. The G flat, E flat, B flat and A flat notes outline an A flat dominant 9th arpeggio with no 3rd. This F flat can be heard as the sharp 5 of the A flat dominant harmony. Over the following G minor 7th chord, Montgomery initially plays a descending 2-octave B flat major 7th arpeggio. A major 7th arpeggio played from the 3rd of a minor 7th chord creates a minor 9th sound. In this bar, he moves stepwise through the G natural minor scale. This F sharp is an incomplete chromatic lower neighbour note to this G. In this bar, he plays an E half diminished 7th arpeggio, which creates a minor 6th sound. The introduction of E natural here again creates a G Dorian sound, which is continued in the following bar. Here, this D flat can be heard as a chromatic passing note which has been displaced by an octave. Over the following B flat major 7th chord, Montgomery again plays an A flat note which is part of the same B flat, G, A flat, F motif used here. In this bar, however, the motif begins an 8th note closer to the B flat major 7th harmony. This line then ends on D flat, the minor 3rd of B flat major. In this bar, these notes create sharp 5 and sharp 9 extensions over the D dominant 7th chord, and here Montgomery again uses the 9th over the G minor chord.